In 2022, you left Gong to kind of go start your own businesses. And so you're the co-founder of a company called QuotaSignal that I think helped us improve the sales interview process. And then you also started PClub, a sales learning platform. Why did you start not one, but two companies? And sort of how do you think of these companies working together? Because from my perspective, it seems like kind of one's the community and the content, one's maybe the software. How do you think about it?
So PClub.io, that's our core business. Like that's the one me and my co-founder are by far most focused on. Probably 10 years ago, we tried to start the same business. One of the businesses that we get inspiration from for PClub is a business called Pluralsight. Pluralsight is a Utah company. They do around 500 million in revenue. And they're the same thing as PClub, but for technology folks. It's a large online learning library for software developers and technology people. And back in like 2014, they had just crossed 100 million in revenue. And they're, in my backyard, basically, because I lived in Utah at the time. And my co-founder and I were like, we should try to start this, but for revenue teams, right? Imagine a big online learning company for sales and revenue and marketing and that kind of thing. And it just kind of fizzled out. We never really did anything with it. But then fast forward to 2022, almost a decade later, we started QuotaSignal, which is like the interview as a service company. But at the same time, I created my first online course to see if we could just bootstrap some cash. I figured it'd make like $1,000 a month or something. And it just took off like a rocket ship. And so I was like, okay, let's do another one. So we created a second one. And then we created a third one. And like within a couple months, these courses were doing well into the six figures a month. And so we decided, as this was happening, we were raising a little bit of money, like a pre-seed round. And we're like, let's focus on PClub. Like QuotaSignal is cool, but it's really hard to hire or sell hiring technology and services in an environment where nobody's hiring. And PClub just feels easy compared to this. And so our vision started to shape with PClub, and we went from selling just to individuals to selling to businesses. And, I've got a contract out for a $250,000 deal right now with PClub, and it's just grown like crazy. So that's PClub. The genesis behind PClub, like years and years ago, when I was an SDR, me and my co-founder went to an amusement park together with our girlfriends, who are now our wives. All of us are like best friends. And I told him, I was like, I can't play the drums anymore, which was previously my life stream, because I got like tendonitis in all my limbs. And I've decided I'm going to get rich. I don't know how, but I'm like telling him, I'm going to make a ton of money. And my co-founder, he just says things in a smart way. And I remember exactly what he said. He goes, if you want to do well for yourself economically, you should learn to sell and should get really good at it. And that inspired me to double down on this SDR job. Now, how does that relate to PClub? That 12-year journey or whatever it was, I became obsessed with skill acquisition, because it helped me, rise from lower class in life to doing pretty well for myself. And so I became very interested in learning, very interested in skill building, and I still am. And that's the mission behind PClub. Right? The mission is we help people acquire economically valuable skills so that we can raise prosperity. So there's a lot of just complex backstory to kind of all of this.
And what does PClub kind of sort of look like behind the scenes? Are you in some ways almost like a teacher and just coming up with curriculum and content and videos and different things? Or is it just you in the videos? Do you have other people? How do you sort of think about the content that you're selling to these enablement teams?
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple dozen courses now, and I did maybe the first 5 or 6. So I have a head of course production, and his job is to go find the top tech revenue practitioners to teach courses on very finite, distinct skills. And so it's becoming less and less about me, right? Chris Orlob doing the courses, and more about other people. And so he runs that part of the business. I have a head of sales who's running, the B2B, but I'm very involved there. Any deal over, 20 grand, I'm involved in. I have a head of growth marketing who runs the consumer side. I'm also super involved in that part of the business. Her and I kind of tag team it. She does certain things well, and I do certain things well. And then my co-founder has an engineering team, and we're building all the software that supports all the courses and makes intelligent recommendations based on skill gaps and all this stuff. So My day to day is kind of a cluster. I'm there's no day the same. I can't really fit in routine anymore, which is kind of sad because I like having the first couple hours of my day be the same, but it's really hard for me to fit in the time to do that these days.
That's just founder life. I feel like I always have a plan for every day, and then I wake up, open up my laptop, and it's like you
Worst.
get punched in the face of one way or the other, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do that now. Yeah,
That's
that's
exactly it.
funny.
Yeah.
What's been the surprisingly hardest part of building the company? What's something that's been unexpectedly hard for you?
We're getting away with murder. It's it has been shockingly, I don't want to say it's been easy because I've worked harder on this than I have anywhere. But we were really fortunate, right? We started this company. I already had a big audience on LinkedIn. And so it was not a cold start company. It's in hindsight, it's not shocking that like we grew as fast as we did and just got that initial traction. The hardest part for me, at least, is context switching because we have these two revenue lines, right? We have like the consumer revenue and the business revenue. And anytime I put more focus on one, the other one suffers. And then I like go back and put the focus on, it's like playing whack-a-mole. And so trying to build a self-managing company is like the hardest part right now. Like, how can I build this company in a way that's not so dependent on my hands? And so I can take a step back and like dissect the company from the outside and think about what we should be doing differently rather than like so much day-to-day execution.
It makes a lot of sense. It's like relatively easy in the sense that, yeah, you have this giant LinkedIn following. You did the smart thing of like, go build the audience and go build the customer base and then go sell the product into them.